Hey you guys, and welcome to this Wednesday Facebook Live in Overwhelmed Solution for Moms. Hello, conscious mothers. Thanks for coming and joining live. When you're here, just tell me where you are watching from or listening from, and I'll just take a moment for a couple of announcements. And the first one just being to welcome all of you who are new here, who've come in for our workshop next week. We've got a peaceful parenting workshop next week. If you're an empath mom, this is a great one for you because we're going to be digging a little bit more into some of those emotional pitfalls that happen for moms who are quite tuned in to the sensitivities of their kids, to the feelings of their kids, or are having a hard time getting bogged down by the emotional weight and job description of motherhood. If you're a working mom, this is a great one for you. There are replays available, so if you can't come to these sessions live, you can absolutely tune in, watch a replay at night before you go to bed, and stay on top of the session. So it'll be live Monday through Friday. If you're somebody who feels like you are overwhelmed more than you want to be, or like you're working so hard, trying so hard, and your kids are not like stepping up or appreciating or reciprocating that kind of involvement, participation, responsibility that you need, and that includes partners too, then again, come to these sessions. You're going to learn a lot about what is a sort of a small problem, quick problem to solve. You'll get a shift that can make a difference for you right away versus what is something that is more a communication, a relationship issue, something showing you that your kid needs help. It's going to give you some, it's going to illuminate some of those things for you. And that's really helpful. So you can know where to put the little time and energy and resources that you have into solving the right problem. Okay. I've been talking to a few of you who are signed up for the workshop, and I can tell that this group is so full of so many really loving, caring, committed, fantastic mothers who want to know that they're doing a great job. And I know sometimes you feel like you're failing. And I was interested in having a handful of conversations over the last week or so. I can hear where that worry and self-doubt is taking up a lot of space in your brain, is eating up a lot of your bandwidth and your energy. And a workshop like next week's that I'm going to give can give you so much clarity and save you literally months or years of investing in the wrong thing, of doing things that aren't going to solve the problem you have. So come join me, learn more about that, book your call if you haven't yet. I'll drop a link for the workshop below this. There are a limited number of spaces, and there's still space left. So if you want to secure your spot, go ahead and register now. Don't wait. And I have a couple of spots left on my calendar. If you haven't had your workshop clarity session yet, go ahead and do that and book with me. Okay. Moving on. I thought today we could do a little bit of a Q&A. So I got a couple of great questions this week that I wanted to bring here to this community. And in case these are things that are happening for you right now, if not, I'm sure at some point it will happen for you. And so here goes. So the first question that came up this week from the community it's just such a good one, and I've gotten it so many times. So what does it mean when my kid says, I hate my life? Do I need to take it seriously? Is this a big red flag? Do I need to start my kid in weekly therapy? Are they going to hurt themselves? Do they really hate their lives? Does this mean I'm doing everything wrong? We've messed it all up. If you have a kid who is a big feeler, deep feeler, or highly sensitive child, and this child doesn't do anything halfway, they feel something, they feel it all the way. And maybe your kiddo is, I was just talking to a couple other moms about this recently, really since the pandemic. We're 5 years into the future from when that thing started. And so many families and mothers are still really, really wrestling with the ripple effect of the pandemic, the aftermath of COVID, whether it's in your health and you had long COVID and you're clawing your way back, or whether it is in that disruption, the interruption of all that happened with kids' schooling and work. And I honestly don't know anyone of my clients or anyone in my friend circle who doesn't still feel like they are impacted negatively by what we all went through then. That was such an intense time for everyone. And if you're still struggling with that, I see you and I get it and I understand. So let's talk about these intense feelings that kids are expressing. And maybe yours have expressed these, or maybe maybe this is something that that you've worried about too. Like, if my kid says to me, I hate you, or I hate my life, then I know what a lot of parents will do, what a lot of moms and my clients will do is go to, 5 steps down the line. Go to a place of fear and worry and assume the worst or catastrophize. And maybe it is a red flag. I do not want to minimize some kids when they say, I hate my life, or when they say, I hate myself. It is a huge red flag. Other kids, it isn't so much. This is why expert help is so important. Don't wait. Book a call with an expert, get a free consult, get on the phone with someone, find out what resource your child needs or your family needs or you need to support this kiddo. Okay, just want to say that for the record. Don't take what I'm saying and assume that this is the answer for you. This is very, very generalized, what I'm telling you, but as a therapist for the last 20 years and having helped so many families with kids who feel really intensely, who have outbursts and meltdowns, who say, I hate you, who withdraw, who whatever. I just know that these are words that a lot of kids will say, and it can be that they just in that moment are having a really hard feeling and they want you to know. And often that's what it is. They want you to know, in this moment, I am having a really big feeling and it's really hard to tolerate it and it scares me. Okay, that's often what it means. At the other end of the spectrum, it could also mean I've been feeling for a while that I don't fit in. I don't know how to make friends. I feel uncomfortable in my body. I am numbed out, or I'm overwhelmed, or my nervous system is in fight or flight all the time and I don't know what to do about it and help. And so oftentimes people assume without really exploring to find out more. And so this is the piece I want to share with you today. If you hear your kiddo saying things or expressing really intense behaviors, tantrums, shouting at you, slamming doors, I hate you, or to a sibling, I hate you, or, getting aggressive with a sibling, if any of these things are happening and you're assuming that it is one thing, that you know what it is and you know why, but you have not gotten curious and explored. And there are lots of ways to do this, but again, book a call with an expert. You can book a call with me if you'd like, and figure out what you need to be looking out for, what you need to be asking your child, what signs of sort of potential dangers or high risk you need to be watching for. Because it's amazing to me, as long as I do this, no matter how many people I help, it's 2 things are really amazing to me. One is how spot on a mother's intuition will be once we get there about what's going on with her kid. And 2, how many times a mother will assume she has no idea what's going on with her kid. Both of those things happen at the same time, you guys. You may feel so overwhelmed, so overstimulated that you can't hear that, what's really going on with your kid, what the emotion is really about, because there's a lot of static and noise in your life already. Your plate is overly full. You may be so caught up in your own overwhelm that you are assuming the worst. You're going to fear and worry and catastrophizing. What's also true is that as mom, you have information that you can read about your child. You know things other people don't know. You can see things other people can't see because you've known your child for the longest and in the deepest kind of ways. And you may not recognize that about yourself. You may not own that about yourself as a woman, as a mom. But I have honestly yet to meet, out of thousands of women who I've helped, I have yet to meet anyone who I could not help to get there and uncover that ability within them, that knowing about their own child within them. And you may say, no, like there's no way, I'm not intuitive, or I can't know. But the truth is, if your child is saying, I hate you, or I hate my life, they are having a really big feeling they don't know how to feel, and that scares them. Okay, who can relate here? Raise your hand if you can relate. Anybody here ever had a really big feeling that you didn't understand or that scared you? I guarantee you have. Whether it was fear itself, whether it was worry, whether it was grief, whether it was anger, can sometimes be really scary to feel. Whether it was someone rejecting you or abandoning or betraying you. There are so many things that we are, but we don't really know how to feel without practice, without some ropes to guide us. And our kids are the same way. They just have less life experience to measure it against. So it's more overwhelming to them. They have nothing to contrast it with, okay? So I want to hear your experience. Just say down below, whether it's this phrase or whether it's something else, something that your child says to you that really has thrown you for a loop. Whether it's I hate you, or whether it's something to a sibling or to your partner, another parent, or about themselves. And it really is, the risk goes up if you hear your child saying something about themselves. They don't like themselves. No one likes them. They hate themselves. These are bigger red flags than sometimes, again, very, very general, keeping it very general, than I hate you, or I hate this, or whatever. What's something you've heard your kids say and you'd like to know more about what it means without going straight to assumptions or fear or panic or catastrophizing? I'd like to know. I want you guys to say it down below. I'm going to be doing more Q&As lately for these live stream workshops because these questions were so great. And I'll tell you what it was in this case when the question came in from someone who is currently working with me in Awakened Motherhood this week. In this case, and her kid is a really big feeler. This child has really intense feelings and is learning how to regulate them, which is an ongoing process. But the key to helping your child regulate is you knowing and understanding your own emotions and what to do with them and having those kind of guide ropes. In this case, this kid had a really tough week. A lot of hard things had happened. She'd had hard things happen. You know, it had an accident, was in some pain. Something else happened that was upsetting. This is life, right? Life, it's messy. We have to learn how to develop the skills, the tools to be able to navigate these challenges without going to the extreme of overwhelm, collapse, rage, whatever it is, right? So she's still developing that. She's little, she's still developing that. And mom's role, then, your role as mom, is to not go to the extreme either, but to be able to manage your own emotions, to stay here and present, to find out what's really going on with your kiddo. How do we do that? Well, if we don't have our own emotional bearings, we're going to just kind of go to the extreme. So next week, I'm going to talk a lot about this in the workshop, how to get to a place where you can really take charge of your own experience so that you're not going to overwhelm. You're not going into fight or flight. You're not going into collapse. You understand and know that this is how I stay clear and in my own lane so that I can help my child. And we'll be going into some of that next week. So thanks so much, you guys, for being here. Tell me something crazy, something totally overwhelming, something that you don't know how to deal with, that your kid says to you or has said to you. And I'll see if we can pull that one in for next week for one of the Q&A sessions, okay? If you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and sign up for the Peaceful Parenting Workshop, you guys, and I will see you next week.